Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Suship Yugioh deck profile for August 2021. With the Dawn of Majesty booster set, we were given the first support for the Gunkan Suship deck, a deck that focuses on ships that are made entirely out of sushi. It's definitely one of the most random Yu-Gi-Oh decks I have ever seen, and with it we got the first wave of support in the Dawn of Majesty booster set. We'll be getting more in Burst of Destiny for this deck, but we have a total of 5 cards for the Suship deck in total for this set, and with it I tried my best to make a deck that you can play with the majority of the support, with the focus of the Suship cards meant to special summon out quite easily and search out the other cards we run in the deck and go for our boss Xyz monster in the extra deck. All the cards run very, very well together, so I'm happy with the results of the deck, and we'll just have to wait until the next booster set to get even more support to run with all of these ships made out of sushi. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the main deck Suship monsters, I run 3 Gunkan Suship Shari. It is just a normal monster, a level 4 fire, and needed for gaining the different card effects for going into our Xyz monster, which is Gunkan Suship Ikura class Dreadnought, needing just 2 level 4 monsters, but gaining different card effects when you have your Shari and our next Suship monster as Xyz material. So you want to run 3 of this card. The fact that it's a normal monster just gives us that much more variety of different cards that we can run to make this card that much more searchable in the deck. So you definitely want to run 3 of it to go max full option with the deck altogether. For the next and last Suship card for the main deck that we have so far, I run 3 Gunkan Suship Ikura. If you control Gunkan Suship Shari, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Gunkan Suship Ikura once per turn this way, and during your main phase you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, either add it to your hand or special summon 1 excavated Gunkan Suship Shari and shuffle the rest into your deck. You can only use this effect of Ikura once per turn. So this card doesn't need the normal summon. You can use that for either Shari, or even if you need another monster to summon Shari out onto the field, and then being able to excavate and add additional Suship cards to our hand to make use of in the deck makes it just another 3 of. All the cards work very, very well together, and if the rest of these Suship cards we receive in Burst of Destiny are that consistent, this will definitely be a frightening deck to go up against altogether. And like I said, those are the only Suship cards we have to work with in the main deck for now. For the rest of the monsters, I'm running 3 Rescue Rabbits. I know we only have 1 normal monster target in the deck, but if you open up Rescue Rabbit and at least just have 1 copy of Shari in your hand, you can still use Rescue Rabbit to summon out the other 2 copies from the deck to the field, meeting the requirements to then special summon out Ikura to the field, giving you more and more search from there. So that's why I like running Rescue Rabbit. It just gives you that search, and we have some recycle power in the main deck just to get the monsters back into the deck to make sure we don't have any other, non-usable Rescue Rabbits in the deck afterwards. I also run the 3 Summoner Monk. We run a good number of spells in the deck, and with it you can have the level 4 requirement set up on the field to at least have 1 of the card effects depending on what you special summon out with your Summoner Monk, but with it you can then overlay with Summoner Monk and that card you summon out onto the field into your Ikura class Dreadnought, and then with that also being able to get rid of pesky spells in your hand that may be a dead draw. We run 3 Unexpected Die, but that just be card to discard off Summoner Monk if we just don't have any more normal monsters to target. And I also run 2 Goblinberg, more special summoning options with cards in the deck. You can summon out Goblinberg and then also special summon your Shari or any of the other level 4 monsters we spoke of so far onto the field to go for another overlay using those cards. For the hand trap option in the deck, I run 3 Skullmeister. The biggest reason I run this card is because it is a level 4 monster, adding to the playstyle of the deck, being able to overlay quite easily, but also still retain the power of a hand trap to stop our opponent's graveyard plays in their tracks. And lastly, for the monsters for the main deck, I also run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, just the hand trap of choice. You can try Effect Veiler or even go for maybe the Perform Mage engine for more level 4 special summoning, but that's player preference at that point. If you wanted to take out the hand traps in general, you can try more of the Perform Mage engine lineup, or even cards like Photon Thrasher for more level 4 special summons onto the field to go into your Xyz summons. But that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 of the Gunkan Sushi Shipyard. That's definitely going to be a tongue twister. Seaside Super Spot. The whole thing's going to be a tongue twister. It is the field spell. Once per turn, if you normal or special summon a Gunkan monster, even during the damage step, you can play 1 Gunkan card from your deck on top of your deck. So with it, you set that card up to then be searched out by cards like Ikura, so gaining a guaranteed reveal off of the excavation. activation. And if a face-up Gunkan monster you control with special summon from the extra deck is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, activate this effect, and your opponent pays life points equal to that monster's defense in the graveyard, and then you apply this effect. So with it, you have a scary activation by an opponent's card. You special summon one Gunkan Suship Yugioh from your hand, and special summon one Xyz monster from your extra deck using that monster you control as material. So you want to go full number of Xyz monsters using this card for that resource, which we're already doing. We're maxed out on all the different Gunkan Sushi ship cards that we run. And I run the additional terraforming just for the search option for this field spell, because you want to have it set up as quickly as you can before you go for your any monsters that you play, because once that's set up, you can then rely on the placement of the deck to search out other potential cards you may use with Ikura. And for more special summoning options, I run the 3 unexpected die, stated this earlier, but with Shari being a normal monster, it's just that easy of a special summon, and then being able to use Rescue Rabbit to get 2 additional ones on the field means we can summon Ikura and have the 4 monsters needed to go for 2 different Xyz monsters, one of them being the Suship Xyz, and then 1 additional rank 4 Xyz monster that we may want from the extra deck. For more normal summon search, which is the main focus I went to because Shari plays an important part for the special summon, I also run 2 Painful Decision. You send 1 level 4 lower normal monster from your deck to the graveyard to add 1 with the same name. It takes away from the Rescue Rabbit play, but it all comes down to what you open up first. And this could also just be another card to use for Summoner Runk, depending on what you start off with in your hand. If you open up the Rescue Rabbit, then go for the Rescue Rabbit play. If not, you opening up Painful Decision will at least search out the Shari for you to have in your hand to use. And with all these monsters being used quite quickly, I run 2 Pot of Avarice for recycling them back into the main deck. Not just that, but we can also recycle our Xyz monsters, since we'll make quite a bunch of these with the field spell. Using those cards gives us more draw power with this card, and just more recycle power, because I run 2 of this card. I normally run 1 Avarice, but with this deck and how quickly you can go through the monsters, I found 2 definitely to be necessary for your plays. For the rest of the spells, I run 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster for clearing out your opponent's back row graveyard setup and giving us a monster on the field. I found that the 1-ofs were just more deserving for these spots, needing more of that setup. Foolish Burial really didn't come into mind because you want more of the hand setup for your special summons, but giving you that resource from the extra deck for the graveyard can just be 1 additional play to go for using your spells. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. I run 3 Gunkan Suship Daily Special. When you activate this card, you can also reveal 1 Gunkan Suship Shari in your hand, or reveal 3 Gunkan monsters from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 of them for you to add to your hand. Also shuffle the rest into your deck, and if you revealed Gunkan Suship Shari in your hand at activation, you can choose this card to add to your hand instead of your opponent choosing. And if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card, then target 3 Gunkan ships in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and draw 1 card. So the second edition for recycling all your Suship monsters, along with Pot of Avarice. Having a trap card for that recycle just gives us an additional option, because once again, you're going to go through the cards quickly, and giving you another draw power works just as well as Avarice for that option for the banish from the graveyard. The only minus is, obviously, it'll take away 1 of these cards for you to search, but I didn't really run anything else that could recycle spell and traps. We're going more for the monsters with these plays. And lastly, I also run 3 back to the front, more special summoning options from the graveyard for our level 4 monsters. I thought with the field spell to run Metaverse. If you wanted to run Metaverse, you can always just take out 1 of the back to the fronts for an additional copy of that field spell searcher. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. For the Xyz monsters, I am running 3 of the Gunkan Suship Ikura class Dreadnought. This card is Xyz summon. You can apply the effects down below based on the materials used, and you can only use each effect of Ikura class Dreadnought once per turn. If you have Shari equipped to it, I say equipped, attached to it, you draw 1 card. And if you have Ikura, this card can make a second attack during the battle phase. 2200 attack, attacking twice can make for a pretty big hit against your opponent. And also once per turn, if your Gunkan monster is special summon from the extra deck, inflict battle damage to your opponent equal to target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroys it. So if it attacks and damages your opponent, you can also gain an additional destruction. So with that, you have the play to pop a card, hit for some big damage, and also draw off of all these cards, keeping your hand consistent. And it's why we're running 3 of it, so we can work pretty well with the field spell setup also. For the additional rank 4s, I'm sure the number of Suships we run in the extra deck will increase with the more numbers we get, but for now we're just running more of the generic setup. I run 1 Utopia double, 1 number 39 Utopia. This is more for the additional setup with the plays. If you wanted to run double or nothing for the setup, you can always take out one of the unexpected dies for an additional spot for the Utopia double. I also run the 1 Utopia lightning, and also just for the option of overlaying more and more to give more Xyz material for the Utopia, the lightning play. We also have more of a setup with needing more of the generic rank 4s in the extra deck to go for. I also run 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Baguska, 1 Dark Rebellion, and 1 Castel for the rest of the Xyz monsters for the extra deck. If you didn't want to run the Utopia double, because I don't have the double or nothing in the main deck as well, once again, you can take out the 1 unexpected die for a copy of double or nothing, or you can take out the Utopia double and keep the lightning and Utopia for a copy of Daigusto Morale, just to give you more and more recycle power and special summon power for your normal monster in the graveyard. For the Link monsters, I run 1 Heat of the Fire Charm or Ablaze. They are fire. I know they're ships, but they are fire monsters, so if need be, you can go into Hita for more plays, including taking your opponent's fire setup. Also 1 Doolittle Chimera for more of the firepower boost, especially for our Xyz monster being able to hit 2700 attack that can attack twice. And also I run 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 Borreload Dragon for the rest of the Link monster setup. We're sticking more to the Xyz monsters, but it's nice to have a Link monster lineup to go into just in case. And then as for the go-to plays in the deck that you can go for, we have the Rescue Rabbit play to then banish to summon out your 2 Sharis onto the field. And then being able to summon Ikura gives you the Xyz summon into your go-to main play. It's a pretty simple play, but I'm sure the plays will get more complex with the more different Suship monsters we get. This then allows you to have both of the monster effects, since you have both of the required materials on your monster. And with that, you can attack twice, draw a card, and also have the option to destroy a card against your opponent. If you activate unexpected die and got the last of the Suship Shari on the field before activating the card for your play to go into, giving you that additional monster on the field will give you 1 more monster to use for your setup, and with that, 1 more additional monster to overlay with on the field before you use the Rescue Rabbit if you have the Ikura on the field. So with that play ready to go, you then have 1 normal Xyz monster that you can go for depending on the play you want to use against your opponent, not having to rely on a Link monster, but also with the fact that these are both fire monsters, you can link those away to have 1 additional fire play on the field to boost up the Dreadnought ship on the field to 2700 attack, as I spoke of before. Very, very useful to then hit over a good variety of different monsters your opponent may have. All of this also, if you have the field spell, I definitely do recommend for the setup activating this card before doing any of the plays I spoke of before. Even just normal summoning Shari and then giving you the option for special summoning Ikura from your hand. And then you can use the field spell to set up any of your other cards, including the trap card, which will recycle your Suships back on the top of the deck for you then to reveal with your Suship Ikura, giving you more options with all the cards you reveal from the top of your deck to add the proper Suship card you may need for saving resources against your opponent also. And then being able to overlay these cards into that monster for the option of then giving you more special summonings of different Xyz monsters with the use of the field spell on the field also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. It was definitely an interesting deck. When I first originally saw these Suship monsters, I never thought we would get something so random in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh card game. I know I've seen plenty of these decks in the anime, and this one just screams anime, and the fact that it didn't come from the anime just makes it that much more crazy, and I can't wait to see what else we get in store, not only for this deck, but for other Yu-Gi-Oh decks in the future. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.